Hi everyone, my name is Kim, and for those of you that don't know me, I was able to quit my job 2 years ago to travel and write, and now I live the life that I have always wanted. So I'm going to share with you exactly how I was able to do that. So here's what I'll share with you in this brief presentation. So my story, how I determined that quitting my job was what I needed to do, how I figured out what I wanted to do with my life, how I put a plan in place by getting myself prepared mentally and financially, how I'm living today happy and free, and how you can do this too. So here is my story. I'll give you a little bit of background. So I started working at 16 years old. I was promoted to manager that same year. Over the next 26 years, I changed companies, taking higher pay and higher management positions. I worked 6 to 7 days a week, 10 to 16 hours per day. I was overworked, tired, unhealthy, unhappy, and dissatisfied with life. I was tired of answering to someone else, tired of deadlines, and having a poor work-life balance. I felt like my life wasn't my own. And there was no point in making plans with friends and family, and no point in trying to date because I was always on call, so I always had to cancel plans or leave to go into work. So I come to the realization that life is just too short to feel this way. Waking up in the morning to go somewhere I didn't want to be with people I didn't want to be with just wasn't an option anymore. I took charge of my life and my happiness. I wanted freedom, a calm environment, and time to clear my head. I envisioned what my life would look like in 5 years if I didn't do this. The career that I thought I loved had reached its expiry. So after 26 years, an education in accounting, and a background in finance and HR, I quit. So now I had to figure out what I wanted to do. So I knew I wanted to quit my job about a year before I actually did it. So in that year, I made a list of what I was good at and what I enjoyed doing. I wanted to help people, so I read books on self-help and signed up for courses. I obtained multiple certifications for things that I believed in and wanted to share with others. Now, what did I do as soon as I left my job? Well, I started writing a book, something I had put off for 20 years. I got back into doing crafts and even sold some of the things that I made. The possibilities for what I could do were endless. I structured my days the way I wanted. Some days I worked only 2 hours, and some I worked 8 hours. Some days I woke up at 8 a.m., and some days I slept in until 10 a.m. Every minute of my day was mine. So here's how I had to get myself mentally prepared to make this big jump. I was leaving a secure job with health benefits and consistent pay. I was leaving my job identity. Who was I outside of being a manager? I had to prepare myself to go back to work if my plan wasn't successful, and I had to be okay with that. This was by far the bravest thing I could ever do, so I had to deal with fear and self-doubt. And I had to be prepared for what family and friends would say. Some said I was brave, and some said I was totally crazy. Now, to get myself financially prepared, my money was spent on essentials only, food and bills. I decluttered my house and sold anything I didn't want or wasn't using. I knew I wanted to spend my life traveling, and wouldn't have the need for a fixed address, so I sold my house. And I developed a plan B if this plan didn't work out. So I researched some work from home opportunities just to have something in my back pocket. So how am I living now? So fast forward 2 years later. I've never felt so calm, free, healthy, and happy. My days belong to me. I can work from anywhere and I make my own hours. Because I didn't have any restraints on my time, I was able to start dating. I met an amazing man and I'm now married. I don't regret anything. I feel like I saved myself. Life is too short to not be happy. And I have since inspired a few others to do this same change. In my experience, the hardest decisions are the best ones and lead you to where you need to be. And I trusted myself to lead myself in the right direction. So here's how you can do this too. Be all in or all out. If you're going to commit, then commit all the way. If you want this bad enough, then tell yourself there is no other option. Imagine your future if you stay where you are. Use that to motivate you. Use the law of attraction. Live as if you already have the life you want. On the rare days off, I would get up in the morning and pretend like I had already quit my job, and I spent my day doing what I wanted to do, and I never felt so happy. Daydream and visualize what your future looks like. The more positive energy you put out, the greater your chances of things happening the way you want them to. Only focus your thoughts and energy on what you do want. This is a very scary decision. Fear and self-doubt will kick in, but remind yourself that staying where you are is scarier. So this is just my story. Not everyone has the same circumstances or are at the same point in life. You may have a family to look after or have high debt, but you can save money. You can see a financial advisor for help. I was lucky enough at the time to have a house that I could sell and I lived off the profit, but there are lots of ways to save money. Talk to people you trust. You will need a good support system. And the point of all of this is that if you want something bad enough and don't like where your life is headed, you can change it. It takes some planning, motivation, and a lot of courage. So I'm hoping that by sharing my story, it might help you think about how you want to live your life. Everyone deserves to be happy. And if you'd like to connect with me, my contact details are in the description of this video. And a big thank you for joining me.